And we're on.
Howdy.
So professional, right?
Off to the races.
Off to the races.
Off to the races.
Hey, Vaughn, we've just been chatting before this, and obviously I think this is going to be a fun chat.
Cool. I think so too.
It seems like it's going to be a fun chat. So
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So we've got Vaughn McKinney from the Parliament Cleaning Group here today. So thank you, Vaughn, for accepting our invitation. We have a mutual friend in Michael Hughes that introduced us and thought it would be a good thing to have us both on this podcast. And I'm happy to have you on and learn a bit more about you and the company.
Well, Dan, thank you for this opportunity. It's not every day you get an opportunity to speak with another businessman about your business and in front of cameras. And thank you, Dan. Much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
So tell us, Vaughn, like how did the Parliament Group get started, or how did you get involved into this business?
Okay. Well, my former career, I was in the credit and collection business.
No way.
I didn't have a motorcycle.
Okay.
But I was into the business, and I was very fortunate. I was with a national company, and I was transferred Montreal, Edmonton, Halifax, then back to Montreal, and then to Ottawa. And then they said, we want to move you to Toronto. And at that point, our family was growing. And my wife was very supportive of us, but we didn't want to move out of Ottawa. We loved it. And at the time, I had a very good client who had a number of businesses. And one of them had large receivables. And he became a very good client, a friend, confident. And one day I went in to see him, and he made me an offer. And it was a perfect...
An offer you can refuse?
Well, it was. It was. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I had the strong arms. But, yeah, the offer was, the company was thinking they were moving to Toronto, and we really didn't want to go. Montreal boy didn't want to go to Toronto. And so I went home and told my wife, and I took the job. And he had a small little carpet cleaning firm that was in his group of companies, and he thought it could grow. And so he gave me a great offer. And we grew it. And it was a franchise. It was a franchise of the Fabrizone Cleaning Systems, which was a Canadian-owned franchise base. And after 3 years, we got to be the largest franchise in the group. And he wanted to get away from the franchise group. He figured we could continue and operate and, save money on royalties. It was a good business move for him. And the franchisor came to me and said, do you guys want to buy the franchise?
Interesting.
And, I wanted to be fair to my employer, and I went back to him, and he said, Vaughn, up to you. So we made the decision to go ahead and buy it.
Oh, okay.
So I signed a brand new franchise agreement in 1996.
Okay.
And it was a 3-year deal with Fabrizone Cleaning Systems, and we did a great job. And we continued to grow. And after 3 years, when I came up for renewal, I was... I had some bargaining power, I guess, and I wanted some terms in the agreement, and they couldn't do it. So we decided to go on our own. And I was in Florida when I got the call from my lawyer in March saying, Vaughn, you need a new name.
Okay.
So I said to my in-laws and my wife, I'm going to go for a walk around the resort. And they came back, and the Parliament Cleaning Group was born.
Wow. And when was this?
This would have been 99.
Okay.
Yeah, so 96 to 99, we started as a Fabrizone Cleaning System.
Yes, okay.
And in 99, we went on as the Parliament Cleaning Group. And,
nice. And that's not a franchise. It was
just a continuation of us. We were able to keep our client list. And, we continued at that time, our strengths were carpet and upholstery cleaning. Sure. And as years went on, we picked up the additional lines of businesses.
Good for you. Yeah. It's so funny. I'm listening to you, and it's when people ask me, how do you start a business? What are the keys to success? And it's interesting because in that quick intro about your history, you can see that it's just about being open and taking the next step and taking the next step and taking the next step and taking the next step. And what's the next step after that, right? So,
it's very true, Dan.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing anyways. Because it's really quick, but I mean, obviously, opportunities are presented to you and you just...
Timing.
And from what I got, as well as the respect, I can see the respect that you have with your former employer and everybody involved to go through. So it's interesting how a really quick few sentences,
thanks, Dan.
You can see how...
we were young, the kids were babies. And I'll be honest, the hardest decision was to make the decision to move forward. And I've seen a lot of young entrepreneurs, and they struggle at the beginning, and a lot of us, once you make the decision, you go for it, right?
Right.
But to get over that hump of, hey, now I'm going to be full commission. I don't sell, I don't eat.
Yeah.
And thank you. It was
because I listen, and to me, I'm like, I'm catching all these little tidbits of that. So I can see why Michael wanted us to sit down.
Oh, thanks, Michael J.
Yeah.
So, and over the last 29 years, we started our core services, and they still are, is carpet cleaning and upholstery cleaning.
And when you say upholstery cleaning, so I'm assuming are you talking about residential or commercial, or how does that?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
And as we grew, the summer was always the busiest part for us, because back in the day when we started, residential was our business.
Yep.
But in the wintertime, residential, people in their homes in the wintertime, they don't clean. They wait till spring. Spring's always the indicator. The tulips come up, we got to start washing the drapes and all that. So, we the winter times during the first couple of years were tough, because we didn't have a lot of revenue coming in.
Right.
So I started going after the commercial business. And to this day, Dan, I'm 98% commercial.
Right. The
2%
reoccurring.
residential.
Yeah, the reoccurring
Love
business.
ROR, sir, reoccurring revenue.
Yeah.
It's and how we've done it is we put together maintenance programs, annual care programs for businesses, for condominiums, offices. I mean, if a resident, we still have a good percentage. We still have a good repeat client in the residential business, but my efforts are focused on the commercial.
The commercial, they're recurring, and obviously, I mean, that's always a need. With the residential, it's one transaction, then you're running after the next one. So
seasonal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, I can see. I hadn't really thought about the seasonal aspect, but I can see obviously if that's the market, then it's then you become super busy. You don't have enough resources, and then in the winter, what do you do? You don't want to lay off your good people.
Well, and that's the problem we had, Dan, at the beginning. We had great staff, but I couldn't keep them going in the wintertime.
Fair enough.
And they had families. They had to make a living and look after their families. So we kept the odd one, but we were always looking for new people, and so that was hard.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
It was very hard.
Yeah, and the seasonal businesses typically, it's especially when you have good people. If you want to retain them, right? A lot of seasonal businesses they struggle with that. So you're always trying to find a compensating service so you can keep everybody going.
Yep.
But in your case, I hadn't thought about that, but I can see how again, and then commercial, then it's, I can see, if you're in a condominium building, there may be actually more work in the winter.
There is.
Because of salt and the dirt and all that. So, good for you.
And oh my God. Yeah. Oh, and residentially now, over the last, couple of decades, last decade, I would think, there's less carpet going into homes.
Right.
There's more hard surface flooring.
Right.
So, yes, we do area rugs, because we do have a plant at our office. There's an in-plant operation where we'll go into your home. Women still want to put a rug into a living room or a dining room on top of a hard surface floor.
Sure.
So they want to add a little color and make it homey. So, over the last 20 years, we've gotten very good at cleaning area rugs. We have a pickup and delivery service.
Okay, so you actually go on site, pick it up,
bring it back to our plant, bring it back. We do repairs.
For area rugs, that makes sense.
Do minor repairs, And we also, in 2008, was it 2008? Yeah. I had a bad accident, and I'm lucky to be sitting here.
Oh.
And when I got out of the hospital 6 months later, I went to all my guys and I said, we're not on 24. We used to do 24-hour fire or flood cleanup. And when I got out of the hospital, I took the pagers off of everybody, and I said, we're no longer on 24-hour call. And I told all my clients as they would call, and I'd say, can't help you, but I would have a referral for them. So I never left them hanging. Yeah. So if they had a midnight flood, I had someone to call. And so to replace that revenue, we got into the drapery cleaning business.
Okay.
So since 2008, we've been doing draperies, and we're very unique in the drapery business in that we'll go into your home.
Mm-hmm.
We'll actually take down the drapes.
Okay, that's funny.
And we will rehang them.
Okay.
And so
when you say you take them down, it's because you bring them to your shop for
our plant,
for cleaning.
we clean them, and then we rehang them. And, in that division, Dan, a lot of our clients are seniors. You don't want your 80-year-old mom going up on a ladder and taking down the drapes. So we're very unique.
Yep.
You know, dry cleaners will dry clean your draperies, but they will present themselves at your front door.
Right.
You hand them the drapes. They'll come back. They'll hand them to you. You go back up the ladder.
Sure.
We offer the whole service.
Okay.
So that has been a very good business for us. And, you know, we get in there, the client calls us up and wants their drapes clean. We go and talk to them about their drapes. In the conversation, we'll talk to them about their upholstery and carpet. Of course. Yeah. And the upholstery, is it the same thing? I'm assuming you're not removing furniture from house. We're not good movers.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. You know, back in the day, Dan, when we did fire or flood restoration, yes, we had to move, because if they had to move the content out, my guys, we'd go in and move the furniture. But leave the moving to the specialists, the moving companies. We're a very good cleaner. Yeah. So 99% of the furniture that we clean, we do it on site.
You do it on site.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Sometimes, someone says, "Can you get all these stains out?" And my honest answer is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends
so
what it is.
give me a cushion.
Yeah.
Just give me one of the cushions. I'll take it back to the shop, test it.
Yeah.
See if I can get the stain out. If I get the stain out, I'll bring it back, and then we can dispatch a truck.
That's right.
But I think honesty, and that's
no, because it's tough. Like, I mean, I put myself in your shoes. Is it guaranteed? Well, I mean, there's not much to guarantee in anything that we do.
Death and taxes.
You can try.
Death and taxes. I'll tell you. I'll guarantee you death and taxes.
Yeah.
I can tell you this. My guys are trained. We're trained to the IICRC specs.
Okay.
Which Rochelle will know.
Yep. Yeah, she does. Yeah.
And my guys are well equipped. Okay. And we have varying degrees of spotters, because the pH scale is 0 to 14. And so you need different spotters for different types of stain. So my guys are well trained, well equipped, but can't guarantee you.
No, of course. Yeah. Because you don't know what it is, how long it's been there, and
so that's
kind
the
of material,
furniture.
I guess. Yeah.
So we'll bring back cushions.
Okay.
We won't bring back 3-seat sofas.
No. I don't.
We don't want to bang walls.
Because that'd be a whole different ballgame to do that. So, so the types of property. So obviously, we hit on the fact that, I mean, from what I'm getting, a very small percentage is residential.
Yep.
And the vast majority is commercial. So when we say commercial, you're talking about what types of properties specifically?
Condominiums, rental properties.
So we're talking here like common areas, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and as the company grew, to fill that void in the wintertime, I got into entrance matting.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay. Us Canadians refer to them as slush mats. Okay. The proper term is entrance mat.
Yep.
But yes, in the winter they do capture slush.
Yep.
So I represent 3 different manufacturers. Okay. And we will go into a condominium, and the property managers, they'll ask us to quote on new matting. So we'll go in. I just did 2 estimates this morning, and we custom design the layout. So, and with proper, we'll get into that. But we design the layout. Okay, we'll quote it. The condominium will give us the okay. We'll order it, and then starting November 1st to the end of April, we'll dispatch a truck to clean them weekly on site.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's a cleaning on site. You don't remove them because they're...
There are some properties, Dan, that we do exchange.
And then you just put it, you buy like...
They buy a duplicate set.
Right.
And we always have, as we say, we have a clean one in our shop and a dirty one on your floor.
Right.
But I would say if we service just over 300 condominiums, I'm going to say 90% of those, Dan, are cleaned on site weekly.
Okay. Yeah.
And then...
And it almost has to be.
It's easier.
No, but I mean, from a standpoint of reoccurrence, because, I mean, you go into, when it's just been cleaned, it's great, but people go in and out, in and out, depending on the weather, the salt, the slush, so it always is conducive to get dirty and very quickly.
And a proper mat, there's good mats and there's proper mats, Dan. Proper mats.
What is it? Yeah, what's a
proper mats will trap and hold the grit. Okay. So it doesn't allow the debris to migrate into the common areas.
Okay. Yeah, because obviously you don't necessarily have these mats all over the common areas. It's mostly at the entrances, right?
And that's why we that entrance matting, right? So a good mat. Our competition in the matting business, Cintas, Canadian Linen, good companies.
Yep.
I will never take them out. They may take me out down the road. They're big but the rental companies only rent you wiper matting. And what we do in the wintertime is we put wiper scraper matting in.
Okay.
Because we need it not just to wipe the moisture off the bottom of the footwear, but we need to scrape the bottom of the boot.
Okay.
So that stuff stays in the mat. Our truck comes around once a week, cleans it out.
Okay.
Whereas
that's part of the mat, the entrance mat, or it's a different.
There's 3 types of mats.
So people come in, you rub your floor.
They just walk, and
just walking.
As they walk, a wiper mat has polypropylene to wipe or to scrape. And nylon to wipe.
Interesting.
So you'll always see, well, not always see, but in a lot of the mats, you'll see a little whiteness in it.
Okay.
If it's a black mat, it'll stand out more. You'll see the little white threads. That white thread is the polypropylene that actually scrapes the bottom of the boot.
Okay.
And then in the summertime, a lot of our properties will take out the wiper scraper mats, and that's when we put the wiper mat in.
Okay.
Because the wiper mat, good for rainy days, right? And a lot of the new buildings, they're putting in beautiful marble flooring.
Yeah.
That stuff's slippery, Dan.
Oh, I know.
That stuff is slippery.
I know.
So,
I know.
That's one of the key reasons you use matting is to prevent slips and falls. And so you still, in the summertime, if we have 100 feet of matting in a condominium building in the wintertime, in the summer, we might have 15 feet.
Okay.
But it's at the doors, just so when someone comes in, the bottom of the boot's wiped.
Yeah, so it's not
wet. Slips.
Yeah. And do you have, when people, when clients get the service from you, can they get them branded? Or
without doubt.
Their brand on it or whatever? So
they can.
Okay.
Yeah, they can. And, I don't know, maybe it's just me, Dan, but over the years, I have actually talked some people out of logo mats.
Okay.
And the reason that is if you're not going to clean it every day, and I mean some winter days every day, then your name's dirty.
Yeah.
Right? It's your logo. It's your brand.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And so what I suggest to people, if you want to do logo mats, let's do the elevator, not the front door.
Interesting.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if you don't, put that money, because a logo mat is going to be double the cost.
Yeah, it's more expensive for sure.
Put that money that you're going to put into a logo, put that into maintenance.
Right.
Give your matting longevity. Not cheap. If we can get 7 to 10 years with a proper care program, versus 3 years with no care, you're better off.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
But if you want logo mats, I will do them. And we've done some beautiful stuff.
Okay. Yeah, beautiful I can imagine. So.
And the nice thing about owning your own mats, you can pick any size.
Right. Yeah, because they're yours. I mean, it's not.
You can pick any color. The rental market, again, they're only wiper mats, and they service. In the wintertime for a business that's on the 3rd floor of a building, wiper mats are all you need.
Yeah.
But if you're street,
people, by
the time they get up to the 3rd floor, your boots are dirty. All the stuff's in the common area.
Right.
But if you're ground level, seriously consider wiper scraper matting in the winter.
Interesting. No, that's interesting.
There you go.
And so condominiums, multi-residential buildings, office buildings,
office buildings. Yeah. Churches.
Yeah.
We have a number of churches.
Yeah. No, so that's good. So the people, would you say that the vast majority of the people that you serve right now, or are that new incoming clients, are either referrals, or are you soliciting specific pockets of that market?
I work the real estate industry.
Sure.
A lot of realtors are very good to me, and hopefully I'm good back to them. They are. I guess I am, because they keep using me.
Yeah.
But my biggest area is the condominium market. And to be honest with you, Dan, I don't do a lot of advertising.
No, fair enough.
And that maybe that's been my. But my business has grown, and because I'm still I love being on the road, and I'm a business owner. I have my right people in place. They do the accounting. I like to get out and sell.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah,
and 99.9% of my stuff is referrals.
Okay, yeah, and that speaks volumes.
I think
it speaks volumes.
I think.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I think because you don't know 100%. But and also I think I saw on your website as well where I don't know that this is primarily a focus of yours, but when there's, like for us in rental business, there's turnovers that happen every month.
Yeah.
And obviously somebody moves out, somebody moves in. There's usually a cleanup that takes place. And I saw something on your website that had something to the effect that says that when you get in, the amount of work that you do in a short period of time is as much as somebody would spend several days doing.
Yep.
So can you expand on that?
Well, we do apartment carpet cleaning move-ins. When someone comes in, we'll clean the carpeting.
Sure, but it's not a full cleaning of the unit.
It's not a full cleaning.
Sure.
We'll do the carpets. We do have one crew that does hard surface cleaning.
Sure.
But they're really busy.
Sure.
So over the years, we'd get a call the 30th of the month. We got 30 apartments to do.
Yeah.
I could handle that.
Okay. But carpet.
No, it was everything in those days.
Okay.
Toilets,
but you
kitchen.
Don't do that now.
If the timing is good,
sure,
I will do it.
Okay.
But I would rather turn you down than let you down.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yep.
Carpets, not a problem. Yep. I'll be there every time. Hard surface, it's hard to keep that crew. It's because that one crew I have very busy with real estate agents enhancing properties before they put the for sale sign up.
Yeah. There's always some of that. Yeah. Spruce it up.
Yeah.
So in terms of services, because obviously we talked about carpet, upholstery, drapery, blinds, entrance mats, area rugs. There's also something that speaks to odor control.
Odor management.
Let's get into that a bit. That's an interesting one, and I'd like to. I mean, when you talk about odor, are we talking about because you've walked into a building and there's a smell of a musk or pets or whatever else.
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about, or something else?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. We've been into odor management, or I guess back in the day we called it odor control.
Mm-hmm.
But for the last 3 years, we got into odor management with a company by the name of Vectair.
Okay.
British technology. There's really 3 ways to deal with an odor. Cleaning, ozoning, or counteractants. And we have the ozone machines.
And the ozone is used primarily for smoking?
Smoking, cooking odors.
Okay.
And we
cooking odors, right?
Yeah, cooking odors. Okay.
And that's a machine you put in that that cleans the air, I guess.
Yeah. And there's 2 types of ozone machines: corona discharge and UV.
Okay.
And we have both. Okay. But to be honest with you, a lot of them we're not using them as much, but we still do. The UV is safe when someone's in the home.
Okay.
If we put a corona discharge machine in your home, you shouldn't be in the home.
Okay.
Okay. Nor should plants. Okay. And also the seals on your refrigerators, we take those.
Really?
Crack them. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because if you're in the building.
But why would you use that versus, say, the ozone? Is it a different?
No, that's the ozone I'm talking about.
The ozone you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. And if you stayed in the building long enough, you'd come out sounding like Joe Cocker, the voice.
Okay.
So over the years, we've looked for different ways, and Vectair now is the way for us. We have different systems. They can be some time release, some are passive, but they're counteractants. Okay, and they encapsulate we're looking for malodors.
Yeah.
Because some odors are good.
Yeah.
French fries.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But we're looking for malodors.
They're good to smell, not to eat, but okay.
Yeah. We're allowed to. Every so often.
They taste good, but.
So we're looking for malodors. Yeah. And in our condominiums, with the new compost rooms that condominiums are building, that compost is awful.
I know.
It's awful.
I know.
So we got into it because our trucks are already at the condominiums.
Sure.
And it's a service we're providing to the residents.
And is this, so just so I understand, so is this something that you do periodically, or it's something you set up in a room that always works and then you replace?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we set up the dispenser.
Sure.
Okay. Depending on how we program it. Okay. And you can program it to run every half hour, every hour, from this hour to that hour. Okay. Depending on how we program it, we'll be changing the cartridge 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this thing runs, it's there. It's not it's not like the one-off. It's really set up so that it controls the odor. And it's like, obviously a compost room would be a really good example.
Compost rooms, garbage rooms.
And that's, it gets an electric plug you put in.
Some of them, we don't need electric now.
Oh, no?
No, it runs on batteries.
On batteries. Okay. Interesting.
For the big guys, are those the E's?
Yeah.
The D's?
Yeah. Okay.
And they're counteractants. They encapsulate the malodor. Okay. And it breaks it down to neutral.
And I guess depending on the odor, then you adjust the...
We have different scents.
Yeah.
And we like to call the scents markers.
Sure.
Because a marker can be measured. So we have a citrus mango. We have all the beautiful... When we got into this, we go to Florida. My family, we go to Florida every March. So I got into the rep came to see me in February that year, and I said, "Yeah, I think something we can do with this." So he gave me a box of all the scents.
Okay.
And I had 5 women in Florida with me.
Yeah.
So one of the first after dinner, I said, "Okay, girls, which ones do you want to stock?"
And then they chose each a different one.
Yeah, and there was some commonality, but at the bottom end of their choice. Yeah. All their first
process of elimination.
Yeah, but women, right? You love them. So, anyways,
but we love them.
Yeah, we do love them. So, and we even have a 0 scent, Dan.
Yeah.
Because we realize the people with allergies.
Some people don't like it.
But because these are they're not deodorizers.
Right.
They're not room fresheners. They are actually inorganic counteractants.
Sure.
Okay? When the cartridge is done, recycling bin.
Okay.
Very safe. And we have yet, Dan, to come across a resident in a building that has an allergy.
Okay.
Or a sensitivity to, because it's the air fresheners and the deodorizers that people have sensitivities to.
Right. And if it's too strong, I think, the perfumes or whichever, and you know, some people have a hard time with that. So that's interesting. Yeah.
So there's
nothing better than to go into, a building or common area and have a
fresh scent.
Something that's
fresh
interesting. So, and those typically would be installed. So we use a compost room, but what other areas would they?
Lobbies.
Okay.
Garbage rooms, exercise rooms, common washrooms.
Sure.
And there's a couple of buildings downtown that are very high-end buildings. They have them, and each floor has its own little. When I say garbage rooms, it's in the basement where all the garbage comes down from.
Yeah.
But some of the buildings even have them in the individual floor garbage rooms.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just So
it's
and then you guys monitor that every so often.
Yeah, and we go in and change.
So that's good. So and then when it comes to, anybody, obviously, we always have questions like trying to put ourselves in somebody who's listening to this and saying, if I want to consider the services, what questions do I ask? Yeah. Obviously, it differs a lot depending on the service that you ask. I think we hit, upholstery. You've been quite, open about doing tests with cushions. When it comes to drapes, you go the extra mile by pulling them down and bringing them to the shop. We talked about area rugs. You'll bring them to the site. Any other questions that people should be asking, say when they, when it's say odor control, or the frequency, say for example of carpeting. Obviously, you mentioned a sequence of replacing or cleaning once a week.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming depending on how much How many people go in? I'm assuming that, those services may vary from building to building, or am I mistaken?
Foot traffic has a big factor on how often we should be cleaning those mats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of our buildings we're in weekly because they're high traffic.
Sure.
But then there's some smaller properties, maybe 4 stories, 3 stories, not a lot of traffic.
Sure.
Okay. So we adjust it based on the foot traffic. Could be twice a month.
Sure.
Might even be monthly. So it's based on the foot traffic. And if someone was to ask me what type of mat should I buy, my first answer is make sure the backing.
Right.
Okay, there's 3 types.
But you would help them.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, you would help them in choosing the right, depending on what the objective is, right? So
yeah. But there
I think it'd be a wise
price points. Some condos don't have the large reserve funds.
Sure.
So maybe they would start off with a gel foam backing mat. Gel foam. Good with proper care. With proper care. Okay.
Of course.
You can get 5 to 7 years with a gel foam. Then you step up to a vinyl
5 to 7 years. Okay, that's kind of neat. Yeah.
With care.
Yeah, of course.
With care.
Yeah, but with care meaning regular cleaning,
cleaning,
proper storage.
Yes, and that's something we do. I mean, we have 8 buildings left. We have 227 buildings in storage for the summer.
Okay.
We have 8 left.
Wow. Okay.
So we bring.
When you say 8 left, you mean 8 left?
8 more to do.
Oh, okay. That you have to go and remove the carpets. Okay.
So and then our spring rush as well. Yeah. And then in the fall, after Thanksgiving, we start installing them back.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And that's and the rolling. I mean, yes, you hit on something. A lot of buildings that we go into and we take over on a care program, they've been storing themselves. And the on-site guys, it's a hard job.
Yeah. It's heavy, it's heavy, cumbersome.
You got to roll. You really have to roll it well, evenly, tight. And store. Some mats you store on the side, some mats you store standing up. So without proper storage, you can decrease the longevity of that mat. So that's a service we provide to the condos.
Yeah.
But it's crucial when you're looking at mats, the type of backing, okay, and your measurements.
Okay.
You need then 15 feet inside every entrance door.
Okay.
You need.
Yeah. To get so the dirt doesn't just continue to come in.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I'm assuming, I mean, as a building owner, obviously, when you have those mats and those, I'd say high performance mats, because if you can, prevent the dirt from getting into the common areas, and it keeps the common areas much cleaner too.
And it saves you housekeeping costs.
Right, exactly. Because then obviously I've been in buildings where, they got really small mats, but then, they cheapened out here, but then obviously the floors are always dirty. So somebody always has to be cleaning. And if they don't clean every day, then it's not nice. And then, especially in the wintertime,
and then salt can be very corrosive.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're getting into the possibility of wear and tear on that hard surface floor. So yes, you need. I can't say strong up proper matting.
Right.
It's your first line of defense.
Interesting.
Matting should trap and hold the dirt, so it won't migrate into common areas, saving you housekeeping costs.
Yep.
Okay. It prevents slips and falls, which can be costly.
100%.
Okay.
Yep.
And it, proper matting, nicely designed, good colors, can enhance the appearance of the property.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
And, for condominiums or buildings that have units for sale and prospects are walking into that building, it's just like you said with the scent.
Yep.
Walk into a nice, clean lobby, smelling fresh and looking nice. That's that's a good first opinion for that purchaser.
Yeah, no doubt. And some people are have concerns about environmentally sound or environmentally friendly products. Is that something that you can cater to, or sometimes it's limited depending on the products that you use, whether it's for the cleaning the rugs or whichever? Is there a gauge or?
Okay.
Yeah.
On our matting, we have one line that's recycled plastic.
Okay.
So environmentally very friendly.
Yep.
As far as our cleaning solutions, Dan.
Yep.
We've tried the green products.
Yeah, and they don't do as well there. Yeah, that's
on hard surface cleaning, they may.
Yep.
Okay. Windows, walls, floors. When it comes to carpet and upholstery fibers, you need the proper pH.
Or else it doesn't. Yeah, it's like spitting water, and they look good, but
so nicely answered.
No, that's fair. I mean,
we've tried them.
It's a common question, but it depends the kind of results you want, right? So it's
our products are all non-toxic.
Yep.
Non-allergenic.
Yep.
And if a client, and we understand people have young children, they have pets, and same with residents. And if anybody, the MSD sheets are all in our trucks. And
what's an MSD sheet?
Material safety data.
Sure. Okay.
So we provide that to our clients should they ever have a question.
Okay. That's good.
And we want them to feel comfortable before our guys come into their home or into their place of business. And everything we have is non-toxic, non-allergenic.
Nice.
Okay.
This is anything else that I missed that you think from a client's perspective should be asking, or we tried to be as thorough as possible based on the services. Because it's been a fun chat, and I'm learning, and I'll have other questions after. Curious.
I firmly believe this.
Yeah.
If you're contacting a cleaning company and you're interested in their services, the simple question I'd ask them: what's the pH scale
of the product they're using? What is that?
What's the pH scale?
Yeah.
We live by that every day at the Parliament Cleaning.
What is the pH scale?
pH scale is 0 to 14.
Okay.
0 to 7 is acid.
Okay.
7 to 14, alkaline.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything that all of you in here today use to wash your hair, brush your teeth, is all alkaline.
Even Mike's hair?
Everybody's hair shampoo is alkaline. Okay? You know why that
we gotta bring him in.
Do you know why that is? You know why everything in your house is alkaline? Personal grooming?
No.
Is because the stains in your hair are acid. Okay? So you need an alkaline to remove an acid.
Okay.
It's like a debit credit.
Okay.
If we want to get our job as cleaners, is to get it to 7, which is neutral.
Right in the middle.
Interesting. Neutral. Okay.
Interesting.
If the cleaning company you're hiring, the person on that phone does not know the pH scale.
Yeah. I would say I'd be surprised if most would know. So
a lot of the manufacturers.
There's just experience talking here.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's why. And your Rochelle.
Yep.
Will know.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, she's working with this
that is taught in the IICRC.
Yeah.
And we could have some more fun with the pH scale, but that's another time. So that would be a simple question I'd ask the cleaning company.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, and then see them stutter.
And it's unfortunate because if the cleaning companies knew that, they'd be working smart and not hard.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah,
and that's something I tell my guy. I'm in my shop every morning, 6:00. My trucks leave at 7:30, and they all look back, and I say, "Work smart, not." I say, "Guys," and they all look back. They know what's coming.
Yeah.
Work smart, not hard.
Yeah. You make sure repetition.
It's I don't know if you remember the old Hill Street Blues TV show.
Yeah.
The staff sergeant in the morning, the last thing he'd say to the guys is, "Be careful out there."
Yeah.
Okay. And so it is an industry, it is a profession, and the pH scale is one of the ultimate things we follow.
Yeah, and I can appreciate. I think anybody that's going to be listening to this as well can appreciate the level of expertise that you bring to the table. Because I think obviously, I think some people discount a lot of what goes into doing this, and clearly when you have buildings and office buildings and condos and multi-res, you want somebody that knows what they're doing. Work smart, not hard.
Yep.
Get the result more so, and then obviously having the
saves
service.
You money, saves the client in the long run.
And having somebody that's been in the business, has the experience, can provide that service, is consistent, and so that's good.
Thank you, Dan.
So Vaughn, if anybody here listening would like to reach out to you, would they go to the website? Is there a phone
they
number?
Can reach me through the website at cleanit.ca.
Cleanit.ca.
Very simple. Yeah.
Okay.
You can reach me through that.
Okay.
Or my direct email is parclean@cleanit.ca.
parclean@cleanit.ca. Mike will put those in the...
Parclean, one word, clean it.
Okay, good. You got that,
Love
Mike?
to hear that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
I want to make sure he's awake.
Thanks,
Keep him
Mike.
on his toes. So
go.
Vaughn, thank you for coming in. You're very generous with your time. I really, appreciated the conversation, and I'm happy Michael got us in contact.
I am too,
it's a fun
Dan.
chat.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Good.
Good stuff.